Well, hello, and welcome once again to 25 o'clock. I'm your host, Dan Drago. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking out the show. Thanks for listening to the thing that I work hard on. There, that was easy to say, you know. I just wanted to get right to the point right there. Thank you for listening to the show that I work hard on all the time. On the show this week, Ju-Taun. And if you're not familiar with who Ju-Taun is, oh man, are you going to like this episode? Ju-Taun is two brothers and one guy who's essentially their brother. They sing together and they have a band. They're Jake Evans, James Evans, and Samoeun Cheng. And I had three guests down here, all talking on the mics at once. It was great. We made it work. Had to get some lawn chairs from my yard and bring them down here so everyone could have a place to sit. But it was great. It was great to talk to them. I met them a long time ago. I'll talk more about Ju-Taun in just a minute, but they're phenomenal. Amazing dudes, amazing stories, and we're going to talk all about that in just a minute. But first, I want to direct you to 25o'clockpod.com if you haven't been there already. A lot of new listeners right now. The Sonia Sophia episode from last time, you all were into it. Tons of people getting in on the brand new Sonia Sophia record and the brand new Sonia Sophia conversation. It was great to have her on the show, and based on numbers, because I look at those sometimes, it looks like there's a good number of new listeners. So welcome to the show. Go to 25o'clockpod.com. You can check out everything there. You can get all the old episodes, stream them, download them, all the stuff that you do with digital media. You can do that at 25o'clockpod.com in our archives. You can check out the Friends and Neighbors page. That's where I have a link to anyone and everyone who's ever had anything to do with the show. They've been a guest. I've played their music on here. I've mentioned them highly. You can find a link and more information to them at the Friends and Neighbors page. You can join the mailing list. I send out an email every couple of weeks, let you know what the new episode is, and just let you know what's going on here in 25 o'clock land. So join the mailing list on the website as well, and links to all the usual social media locations, Facebook, Twitter. We have an Instagram now, which I update somewhat regularly if I'm out and about and see something pertinent to express to you visually. I use the Instagram for that. You can follow us all there. That's at 25 o'clock pod. Twitter is at 25 o'clock pod, and Facebook is 25 o'clock podcast. It's all there. Go to 25o'clockpod.com. That's your one-stop shop for everything. It's all there. I made it myself. You know, it's funny. Over the last week, I thought of all these things that I wanted to talk about in the intro. I've forgotten all of them, and rather than sit here and try and think them out, I will take the advice of my late grandmother and tell you that if I forgot it, then it must have been a lie. That was an old saying of my grandmother. But I did want to mention a couple of things. Last night, I had the great pleasure of checking out Abby Reimold play a set. I had her on the show way back. You go to 25o'clockpod.com into the archives. You can find that episode. That was from last summer. I hadn't seen Abby play in a while. I hadn't seen Abby personally in a bit, too. It was good to see her. She's going to go on tour with the Districts next month, and that's exciting for her and for the Districts and for everyone who's going to be at those shows. But I saw her at Pharmacy, which is this awesome DIY space here in Point Breeze neighborhood of Philadelphia. I've been there a few times before, checked out some great bands. As I joke to people, I'm too old to know that it's there, but somehow I do. It's definitely a young crowd, definitely a young, loud music, young crowd. But it was great to see Abby. I saw a couple of other traveling bands from Ohio whose names escape me. I'll put them up on the site. But I did want to say one thing real quick about Pharmacy, which is a cool DIY space and coffee shop and art gallery in Point Breeze neighborhood of Philadelphia. I know the subject of gentrification and cool things going away out of places that are being developed. I know that subject's come up on the show a few times, and I wanted to direct you to Pharmacy's website at thepharmacyphilly.org. They're going through some tough times right now, and not it sounds weird whenever you say that about a business. They're going through some tough times. All businesses go through tough times. But what's happening with them right now, that whole neighborhood is developing. A lot of money from people who are not of the neighborhood, who don't necessarily have the best cultural interests of the city in mind. I know it's easy to just want to dismiss a little independently run DIY venue and coffee shop that a whole bunch of, weird-looking younger kids hang out at. But I want to take this opportunity to really, really go to bat for a pharmacy. Go to thepharmacyphilly.org. There's a link right on their front page where you can donate to them right now. They're going through some stuff right now. They're having some technical building issues. They're getting, for lack of a better word, mistreated by certain city organizations. There's a lot of stuff going on with them right now, and we have the opportunity in Philadelphia, or even outside of Philadelphia. If you're a touring band and you ever think about playing Philadelphia, this is a place you might get a chance to play. So you might consider throwing a buck or two in their direction. Go to thepharmacyphilly.org. Their site, their page explains what's going on in great detail. This isn't just some band that wants to make a record, although that's valid, and if you want to donate and support those things, you definitely should. But this is definitely part of the lifeblood of the Philadelphia community right here. It is one of many great DIY alternative venues that exist in this city, and to lose it for, just sort of BS shenanigans that seem to be going on always in neighborhoods that start to develop, and the cool arty punk thing that was there at first when nobody wanted anything to do with the neighborhood suddenly has to go for a various set of reasons. I'm just tired of watching that happen. And I don't mean to be rambling, so I'll just cut it short right here. Go to thepharmacyphilly.org. Read their story and decide what you're going to do. But I think after you read their story and you know the importance of good, well-run DIY venues in this city, I think you're going to throw them a buck or two. I think you are. And I think you're going to feel good about it, that you helped a small venue run by great people, run completely legit. This is not a warehouse squat space. This is not, although those things have a right to exist as well, but this is a legit business. These guys have put their money and hard work and time into it. They've signed the papers. They've done everything that they're supposed to be doing. And they're just getting the shaft right now. They really are. And we're in a position to help them. So go to thepharmacyphilly.org. I've said that like 19 times, but I really want you to go there. Thepharmacyphilly.org. Toss them a couple bucks. Try and keep a totally vital, totally awesome art space and venue going in the city of Philadelphia. I'm done. If you hung out with me through that, I thank you. I really do. Let's talk about Ju-Taun real quick, and then let's talk to Ju-Taun. As I said before, they are Jake Evans, James Evans, and Samoeun Cheng. Those are the guys I talked to. They're the main vocalists of the band. They're amazing. They're phenomenal. They have a new album out called Back to Life. It's a 6-song EP. You can check it out at Ju-Taun.com. That's Jutaun.com. Great guys, amazing singers. I met them a long time back. I shared a stage with them a couple of times when they were featuring with a great band called BAM, which featured my friend Mitch Beer on bass. Mitch was on an old episode as well. Go to the archives, check it out. That's kind of how I came across Ju-Taun. But then their management reached out to me when they had a new record out, and so it kind of re-sparked the relationship. It was a joy to have them in the studio. They tell some phenomenal stories about their very unique rise to where they are right now. So I'm going to stop yapping about it, and we're just going to make it happen. Let's check out my conversation with Jake Evans, James Evans, and Samoeun Cheng, otherwise known as Ju-Taun, here on 25 O'Clock. Thanks so much for coming, guys, for coming out on a Sunday, hanging out, bringing the crew.
Yeah, our posse.
That's well. So it's funny. I was So I was doing research last night, and I looked, and I was just like, "Oh, thank God they have a wiki." Because when I met you guys originally, it was probably 2009, 2010, and it was like kind of a different lineup, and you guys were like sort of jumping in with other bands, to do your thing. So I was very glad that was there. So I was like, I kind of remember some of their names, and I'm like, what's going on here? And so it's good. It's good to have a wiki for just simply logistical purposes of keeping stuff straight. But you guys have been you guys have been a group since for 17, 18 years now, or something
Long
like that.
Time.
Yeah.
Dang,
Man,
if you put it like that, it sounds like.
I don't mean to make anyone sound old.
Yes, we were babies when we started.
Well, yeah, I kind of want to start there. Like, how old were you guys when you all started together? Because I know you started in '99.
Yeah, we were like in high school.
Before
Yeah,
that,
actually, the other guys that were in the group before too,
because we used to be like a acapella, like R&B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah. We've all known each other since, and he's known those other guys since they were little kids, you know.
Yeah.
So, and of course, me and him were brothers. So
Yeah.
we've known each other forever.
Which one of you is older?
Jake.
Jake
Me.
is older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much?
15 months.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So close enough.
Back to back. We're Irish twins.
Yeah.
So yes, you guys are all from Jersey, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Just over the bridge.
Yeah.
Just over.
Well, technically,
Samoeun's
me and Jake
not.
are definitely born and raised in South Jersey. Samoeun has a more intricate
I was born
and elaborate
in
story.
Thailand in a
You-
refugee camp.
Oh, really?
To be continued.
Yeah.
Dot.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna come back to that. You were born in you guys are American. It's fine. We
Yeah,
know your
we
story.
we got it.
Oh, I'm
The
American
usual.
now.
Well, no, definitely.
Nationalized.
No, but I'm
Just
saying,
recently, it took him.
well, we definitely need to circle around this, just because I mean, so you were born in Thailand
Mm-hmm.
in a camp. Wow, like that requires some context right there.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Pretty crazy. Well, my story is, nothing compared to what my mother's story was. She was like 11 or 10, kidnapped from her family, forced to work in a camp, and
In
then-
Cambodia.
in Cambodia, and then escaped all that, and went to the border of Cambodia and Thailand, and went into the refugee camp.
On
Which-
her way, she ate a dead elephant. Just to throw
Just
that
throw
in
that
there.
out
Just
there.
to throw that out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And one of her friends died, right?
Yeah, her best friend that she escaped with choked, and she passed away right in front of her eyes.
Oh, jeez. So this is like what, 60s, early 70s?
I think this is like
70s,
late 70s,
late
right?
70s.
Late 70s.
this was
Yeah.
the whole Pol Pot, Khmer Rouge
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Late 70s.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
Yeah, I was born in 1980, and
Oh, we're the
she
same
met
age,
my
yeah.
father in the refugee camp, and my story is really nothing compared to her. I barely remember anything.
Well, yeah, you were a baby.
Yeah, but I do remember I remember them like dreams, like having to go hide because there was thieves, in the jungles or whatever, and they would come into the camp to get, food or whatever supplies that they can. I just remember gunshots, and then boom, that was our sign to go hide out in like the pig pens or wherever we had to hide.
Yeah. How old were you when you came to the States?
I came when I was about 6.
Okay.
I was about 6.
He has some cool photos of like that transition on his Instagram. It's interesting because it was that whole push from this country about like adopting the refugees and basically bringing them into this country, and he was brought in by a Christian organization. His whole family was.
Okay.
Yeah, and we lived with the family that sponsored us. We flew into San Francisco, stayed there for a little bit, and then we went to go live with the family that adopted us in Memphis, Tennessee, or right outside of Memphis, until my parents, worked and saved up enough money to move on their own to South Philly.
Oh,
There's
okay.
like a
Where
small
all the
community
Cambodians are.
where all the Cambodians.
I used to live in that neighborhood actually,
Yeah.
like in South Philly, like Fifth Tasker and Morris.
Seventh and Jackson is
Yep. I used to.
Jackson is
Yeah,
literally
we're right there, just over about a dozen blocks. Yeah, I lived in that neighborhood when I first moved to the city. I lived like Fifth and Tasker.
Nice.
Wow. Now that's not in the wiki.
Yeah.
No. There's
Well, no,
too,
it needs
too
to
much
be.
too
It's-
much to tell.
Yeah.
Well, but that's so. I mean, not to make what was clearly a large tragic situation that thankfully worked out well for your family, and then for you to just be like standing and be like, wow, that's so interesting. But like that's the joy of, at least for me, meeting musicians, stuff like that. Like everyone's got this story, and
Right.
like you might think like, oh, you're from Jersey, you're from the burbs, started a band when you were a kid, good for you. But like
Yeah.
for someone to be like, oh, by the way, I wasn't born here, I was born in a
Yeah.
camp where I had to hide from thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Right.
So,
Kind of crazy.
and then you just recently got naturalized, or whatever
It's
the
been a few
verbiage for
years.
that
He,
is.
he says it's recently
Yeah.
because
It is
there's a story
recently.
behind that.
Hold
too.
up. How old were you when you moved here? Let's talk
You were
about
6.
this.
Yeah.
You
I
were
was
6.
6. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
And then when did you get naturalized? 2010?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
2000.
So-
We were actually trying to
you-
go overseas for something, and we had issues. Because
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
and that's the
yeah.
story that
Oh, you're trying to go and you run into like passport issues, or
Right.
something like that.
ran into passport issues. Not only did I run into passport issues, well, the backstory is we got a gig where we had to go to Croatia. Was it Croatia or
No, it was Cyprus. We were supposed to go to Cyprus.
Cyprus? So they got their passports, and I'm like yittity, whatever. I go. I'm adopted, by the way. Like my parents, when we came here, they separated, and my mom remarried, and my stepfather adopted me. So I go and get my passport because people are saying to me, "Oh, you don't have nothing to worry about. You're adopted, so you're
Yeah.
naturally a citizen."
Well,
So I go.
Not that simple.
Yeah.
It's not that simple. They didn't know. Like they're like, "Oh yeah, just apply. You're adopted. You can get your passport
Yeah.
easy." And then
Your father is citizen.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and what happened? I went, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, nobody knows anything. Everybody's telling me something different."
He was a
Yeah.
ghost, basically.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't know that.
he didn't have a birth certificate.
He didn't have a birth certificate. He didn't have citizenship in Cambodia or Thailand. 'Cause he
Yeah.
was born in, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I was
they had
like-
to
yeah, 'cause
figure all
they
that
didn't
out.
know what
Wow.
country I was. A citizen. I was born in Thailand. I'm not, but I wasn't a citizen of Thailand.
Well, no, because it's you were born so like what where your parents were kind of in the midst of being on the run, so
Right.
it's not like anyone stopped for a second, got your
Right.
paperwork
Right.
filled out, and then continued running.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. No. I as you were telling the story, I was like, yeah, it's you would just kind of fall through every bureaucratic crack that
Right.
you have right there. It's like
Right.
can't locate your paperwork in your country of origin. Can't really locate your paperwork here. So yeah, you kind of that just brings like and it seems so topical right now as we have this debate right now of
Yeah.
immigrants illegal. Otherwise,
Right.
it's that like it's not just simply black and white.
Right.
It's not just like you're either from here or you're from there. Like there's all kinds of interesting gray areas.
Yep.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
So it ended up being easier for him just to be naturalized and
Yeah.
then get his passport than to
So
go
long
through
story
all
short,
that.
we didn't go to
Croatia. Yeah, 'cause
Christ
of
Cyprus
him. Yeah.
because of me.
Yeah, we didn't go there because of him. And
Well, hopefully you made up for it somehow. You got to do other stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
we
yeah.
didn't care. It was
Yeah.
fine.
Wow, that's wild. So when you guys all formed in '99, so you were obviously you're all living in like you all went to high school together.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Williamstown, New
Williamstown.
Jersey.
Okay. So you guys all went to high school together, and you all kind of fell in together and formed an a cappella group, which I guess 98, 99, that was like the real height of
Oh yeah.
like it was.
I mean, you're talking about we Boys to Men.
Yep.
You know, As Yet, Take
Yeah.
6,
All for One, all that-
yeah, all that
yeah.
stuff. Like
There was
we
an
were-
acapella song on the who was that? Shy.
Shy,
had
yeah.
that
I was
huge
just
hit.
thinking of that song a few days ago, and I was like, we sang that in like boys choir in like middle school or early high
Yeah.
school.
yeah.
Because you had a bunch of guys and we were all listening to the radio and
Yeah.
like we were like bugging our choir directors, like we do Boys to Men song, we do this Shy song,
Yeah.
we did End of the Road, like,
Yeah.
It was
Yep.
like it's a joy of going to school at that. It seems like we're all about the same age. Like
Yep.
everyone's born like 79, 80, right
Yeah.
here. Yep.
Yep.
81.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all came from the same thing. Yeah, because R&B in the early mid 90s was huge. And it was everybody, like all like. It didn't matter kind of where you lived or who you were or anything. Like
Right.
we all watched the same MTV and we
Yeah.
all saw the same
Right.
music. Yeah.
It's where we got exposed to other genres that we wouldn't have necessarily in our household. You know, it was from MTV.
Yeah.
Too bad they don't do that anymore.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they
not
don't.
so much with the M.
Yeah,
anymore.
not so much.
Just the TV.
Yeah.
Just should be reality TV.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 MTVs now or something
Yeah,
like that, or
yeah.
4. It's like ESPN where there's like 15 different versions of it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
None of them play music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them play reality television.
shows. It's like, what do 13-year-olds want to watch?
I don't know. When I was 13, I wanted to watch music videos. Like,
Right.
that was
Me too.
And it didn't even matter what. Like,
Yeah.
you were just because the radio played what was on the radio, but you could see so much other stuff. And there was Buzzbin and things like that. You could hear rock music,
Yeah.
hip hop and R&B and all that stuff. Yeah. So you're in high school. You guys decide you want to get together and sing. Which is like the easiest thing to get together and do because you
Right.
don't need instruments, you don't need equipment. And then did I read right? Your guys' dad was kind of like your sort of your vocal coach and your mentor, just kind of at the beginning,
Yeah, our dad.
All the way through.
and
really.
probably and still
Yeah.
now too. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
he passed away a few years
Oh,
ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But up until he was always musically like our mentor, and he gave us structure because we were kids who didn't know what the heck we were doing.
Yeah.
You know,
he had a lot of
he was-
enthusiasm,
yeah.
but like had no idea how
Right.
to like make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the musical director for Chubby Checker,
Oh, cool.
Dovell's.
Oh,
back in,
wow.
like,
D.D.
yeah,
Sharp.
Yeah.
So he goes back to like the Philadelphia International days.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that?
He used to work
He
with
actually wrote. Yeah, he
John
wrote,
Whitehead.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we like grew up around all that, you know. Like John Whitehead was just a
Yeah.
guy,
Which
so
is crazy. Like
Yeah.
how
I didn't
it just-
realize until I got older. Like, oh,
He used to
that's-
talk about them all the time, and then we end up working with Leon.
Huff.
Yeah.
Leon Huff
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's,
Yeah, no, it's the whole sort of history of like Philadelphia, like in the '60s, the Cameo Parkway Records,
Yeah.
Bandstand, like
Right.
all that stuff. Like whenever you think of like big hit music, you know, we think of LA, we think of New York, you think of Motown to a point, but like
Right.
Philadelphia was really because it's just a train ride down
Oh,
from
yeah.
New York, and it was really churning out hits. Like,
Yeah, people don't realize that. I mean, Chubby Checker, D.D. Sharp, the Dovells, Cameo
Yep.
Parkway was all of that sound.
what's
you
the
know?
other? The Delphonics are Philly, right?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
Sound of Philly. You know, Leon Huff, Bell, Tommy Bell, and
Teddy P.
yeah.
Yep.
OJ's.
Yeah, the OJs, and
Yeah.
the list goes on and on and on.
A
Yeah.
whole bunch.
So we do pretty well in Philadelphia for,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
a second tier major city.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So you guys obviously had music in your lives because your dad
Yeah.
was.
It was all we knew.
Is that what he did for a living? Like
Yeah.
he was like a
He was
record
a-
producer or a manager.
He was a
or-
producer, a bass player, singer, and
Oh,
he
wow.
and he was a music director mainly. That was how he made most of his money going on tour with these acts, Chubby Checker, the Dovell. So he would take us all the time, me and my brother.
So we kinda grew up, like,
we grew
backstage.
up backstage with like you know.
Oh, you were like going on like those revival tours,
Oh,
like in
all
the
the
80s
time.
and 90s.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the state fair tours.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah,
We were at every one of those. We were at all the casinos, and we're like, you know, two little kids in the dressing room with all of these mega legends.
Yeah.
Eating all the food.
And we just, you know, we just want to get some of that deli tray there. You know?
One of the guys I work with, his late father, actually his father just passed. He was a singer in the Soul Survivors, and he would tell me the same
Soul
story.
Survivors,
He would tell me
yeah.
the same stories about like growing up and like his dad taking him on tour with like all these like huge like these like 50s package acts that they would
Yeah.
go on.
Didn't we the day that we performed at the
Phillies
Phillies
game.
that weren't we singing in the locker room with
Yeah,
the Soul
my dad
Survivor?
was really close with the Soul Survivors.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say I wouldn't be surprised if you guys knew the guy I worked with too.
Probably.
Yeah.
So
He'd
we
be
were.
about your age. Actually, yeah, he'd be about our age. So he was
Yeah.
probably backstage with you guys too when you were
It's
kids.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were at this Phillies game because we were doing the national anthem and
We actually did Me and Mrs. Jones. I don't know if we sang the national anthem.
Oh, that's right. We did Me and Mrs. Jones, yeah, because they did like a Philly international tribute, so they had us sing Me and Mrs. Jones. But when we were in the backstage in the locker room, the Soul Survivors were in there, and like we just started breaking out singing a cappella with
Oh,
these
that's
guys.
great.
It was like the coolest thing ever. I think we got video of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somewhere.
And that's
Yeah.
great when you get singing groups together because like it's the most natural thing in
Right.
the world
Yeah.
to just everyone be like, oh, like I said, no one needs to pull out a guitar, no one needs to get a piano. It's just everyone just you know
Yep.
someone get the pitch and
Yep, and
that's
it.
that's phenomenal. That's great. So, how do you kind of take it? Like, what's sort of the trajectory of like taking it from being like a bunch of high school guys who are fortunate enough to have some people who are able to help them kind of be a little better than just a bunch of high school guys singing together.
Right.
Like, so you graduate high school, like, and was it already like, was the plan always to just go out and like be professional singers, like to like have a group and like try and make a living doing that?
I think so. I mean, we went to school for like music after high school, but
my dad
like. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my dad was teaching us, more than we would, not just vocally, like he was teaching us theory and things like that. And so we decided to take that further and go study it in college. And I had some background in it because I was playing instruments since I was in 3rd or 4th grade. And so my dad would take me to jazz clubs and play with him and stuff like that. So we just kind of expounded upon that, and we wanted to, really take a shot at it. And we love doing it. We love singing together. You're with your friends and your family, and we were doing really well at shows. So it was like, oh, we could really do this. Yeah. So then
I think it all took a turn when we met Dave.
Yeah.
Right. Dave Still, he's our manager. We've known him 2003. No, 2, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been working together that long.
Yeah.
He says he's your manager for the group or for like
for the group. He runs our little record label.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Climax Entertainment, right?
Yeah. So we met him. When we decided, we got to really do something. We got to make a run and make a push. And we kept like running into him in different places, and he was a local guy. And it seemed like he was hungry too. So we were like, what can we do? How can we work together? So we started meeting and just figuring things out. And he was like, look, why don't we just start our own thing? Will everybody, put in $1,000? We all had jobs at the time. Yeah. We all like saved up our money. We all put in $1,000. We started a website. We started our label. We've got some CDs pressed up of music that we had been working on. And we just started selling them, and we started going places and selling them, and eventually, from doing that, we were making enough money doing that we could quit our jobs, and then it's been that ever since.
Wow. So what was it like when you because I talk to a lot of musicians who get to that point where, you got to decide what it is. Like, am I doing this for real,
right,
or am I not even half doing this? Is like, or am I gonna continue to like have a safe life, and this will be the other thing that I do like on the side. So like kind of running up to making the big step, like what was happening? Obviously things were happening to make you guys be confident enough to be like, okay, this is not the dumbest thing we could be doing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, when we look back on the CD we put out, it was pretty bad.
Well, that's how everyone looked. I got some CDs in the bag right now that I've made over the last 10 years.
But we sold like over 50,000.
Yeah.
And that was like...
Well, that's your thing. That's your calling card when you go out and play. People see you, and especially like there's something really connective about watching people harmonize and sing together.
Mm-hmm.
All the bands I've ever been in, that's always been a big thing. It's not just to like play music. Like we all want to sing together.
Right.
2-part, 3-part, 4-part. Like however many guys you get in the band, it was always like if you're in the band, you have to be able to sing.
Yeah, right.
And
definitely.
if you can't sing, that's fine. We'll teach you. Like,
right.
That's always how it's been.
Yeah.
So like you have that CD and people really connect with that. And you guys were doing, music that was very, I mean, it was popular. It was popular for a reason because people just connect with it instantly.
Right.
All people, not just people that might have been brought up like in R&B community or rap or hip hop or something like that. Like everyone can kind of get behind it.
Right.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
That was good.
Yeah. So that was like early 2000s. You guys kind of made the jump to be like, okay, I guess we're professionals now at this.
I think we never even thought of it in that way. It was just like we just started doing it, and things just started snowballing. And like we literally were selling CDs at a rate where we couldn't order them fast enough. And then it was like, well, we can't keep going to work and doing it at the same time. So
we were going to school.
Going to school too.
So
and
we had to quit school. Quit work.
And we had to like really make like if this is what we really believe we're gonna do, we have to go into it full-fledged and just let go of all the things, the little security blankets that we were holding on to, and it worked out. I mean,
but up to that point, like how much did you guys? Because that like we're talking about like almost like 4 or 5 years in between like you guys sort of starting the group and then being able to say like, all right, this is what we're doing now for a living. But you guys had to have just played together so much in that period of time.
Yeah, we were rehearsing constantly, 3 nights a week for 5 hours at a time. Wow. And, and my dad made sure of it. He was always there, and it wasn't no fooling around. It was like regimented. Like he had us practicing modes vocally and singing scales through progressions. You know what I mean? Like singing a 1, 6, 4, 5.
Yeah.
The scales. You know what I mean?
Being able to do it in your sleep.
Right.
Just pop. Yeah.
And so it was a lot of that. It was a lot of prepreration, and we were writing music, and we were going to the studio, recording a lot of stuff, and we were learning that whole thing. I was getting like, that's where I was kind of like, because I do most of our engineering now, so I was kind of like getting my feet wet with that at the time too. And then we were doing shows, and the shows were always going really well. So it was like, we were making money booking shows. Like, at that time it was like we'll do a show at Rowan and get 3,500.
Yeah. Well, and you discovered like the real business side of it too,
right.
And it sounds like you're the way you guys sort of rehearsed and came up, like that's very much the old school way of like the 50s and 60s studio system, where like if you got to that level of even being like a recording artist, like you had to be good,
right?
Because they weren't just letting anyone do it,
right?
And you kind of got drilled on your scales. It was work, like
right.
And not to say that like nowadays no one works, because people still work incredibly hard to make music. But it seems like we go to more lengths to sort of hide the like the drudgery work of it, when really it is like it's practicing scales,
right?
It's singing together all the time. It's playing a ridiculous number of shows, and not all those shows are going to be good, and not all those shows are going to be advantageous either on a money standpoint or just in general. Sometimes you just go because you're just like, well, I guess this is what we do. Like we go and we play the show, and if 10 people show up, then you give those 10 people the show of their lives. And if 500 people show up, then you give the 500 people a show of their lives.
Right.
Yeah.
If they have one mic and a crappy sound system, you make it work.
You make it. Oh, yeah. I've been there. No sound system. Half the stuff doesn't work. Sound guy doesn't show up.
Right. Yep.
Oh, we thought it was Thursday.
Yeah.
You get the line all the time. It's like, there's normally more people here on the night like this.
Right.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that last week we had 100 people in here on a Wednesday night, I'm like, I'll bet you did.
Yep.
I mean, were you guys just sort of like playing, because you said you were doing some colleges. And it sounds like you had the sort of the professional connection there with your father.
Well, my father, he was acting as our manager at the time until we really met. He partnered up with Dave when we met Dave and started doing all that. But at the time, he was kind of like reaching out to his connects, and he knew a lot of the people that worked for the Park Commission in New Jersey, and they were getting us gigs at Wiggins Park, opening up for like national recording artists. So we were getting a lot of good stuff.
Did you guys ever play at the Dell? Like open up for acts at the Dell?
Never played at the Dell.
Interesting. I would think that you would go over really well there.
Yeah, we never did for some reason.
We promoted at the Dell, though.
We definitely went to a lot of those shows and sold CDs.
We got a lot of, from selling CDs, we had a lot of opportunities just from like hustling, people seeing us.
Well, I read you guys just, you guys were busking, essentially. You were just, because you could do it. You show up with a guitar and 3 voices for however number of guys there were, and you could sort of captivate a crowd instantly. You kind of grow your own little show right there.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got on national tours just from doing that, hustling, selling CDs,
just from being outside.
Making relationships.
Yeah,
it's crazy because you can't do that now, like the selling CDs aspect. Cause
it's a lot harder.
It's a lot harder. You can, but it's a lot harder. No one really uses CDs anymore.
No, I mean, like I have little piles of like stuff that people give me, but it's mostly more just a promotional calling card now. You print up a few thousand of them just to have them to kind of, give to radio, give to press, give to people in their basements. But no one buys them anymore. Everyone wants it online. But you guys ever really got online presence too, so that's something. I imagine that wasn't something that you had originally.
No, we tried to. It's still a struggle for us because we're always like, we don't know what to post. You know what I mean? It's like
No, when I was in the band, I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to do it.
Yeah.
Someone else talk about it.
Yeah.
That's why we make Carter do it.
Well, no, but that's great. You managed to like bring guys into the fold around you in the band. And obviously everyone can. I mean, I've seen videos and I've heard recordings. Everyone's got chops. Everyone can play and everyone can sing and do what they do. But it's good to have guys in a band. We're just like, well, that's my graphic guy. He's a good visual artist. That's my online guy. He knows. Like I told you, like I just started Instagram, and it was mostly because someone just showed me how to do it. And I was like, oh, is that all it is?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I was like, I don't have to upload the thing. They're like, nah, dude, it's all from your phone.
Yep.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Yep. So it's like a couple taps of your phone and you're off.
I was sitting in a studio with my brother. He's like, just go on the Instagram, and I'm just like, what do you do? And he's like, tag the studio. I'm like, how do you do that?
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm not a Luddite. Like, I understand how it works. Like, I understand how Facebook works and Twitter works. But he's just like, just hit the thing. And I'm like, I don't. I kind of just handed my phone to him. I'm like, you do it.
You sound like me. I always add, this guy knows everything.
Yeah.
I'm the tech guy.
The tech guy. I remember when Facebook got popular, I went to Jay. I was like, yo, I hear all this talk and commotion about tagging. And I'm like, explain to me what tagging is.
Yeah. What is tagging?
Oh, it's funny.
Then like a year later, yo, what are apps? What is all this stuff about apps?
What is an app, Jay?
Yeah. And it sounds. I mean, it's all funny and stuff like that. But like, I don't know if you're dialed into certain things, you're not dialed into certain things.
Right.
Like I'm dialed into recording tech and stuff like that. But like when people are just like, oh, if you check what was that online mixtape thing, 8-track or something like that. Someone's my wife was trying to explain to me 8-track. She's like, you can just make a playlist, and I'm like, wait. You just go on and there's songs there, and she's like, yeah, anything you want. I'm like. I was like super skeptical.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think that's how it works.
This can't be real.
This can't be real. Like
now there's Spotify. And,
oh god, if I had Spotify when I was a teenager, my head would have exploded.
Right. Exactly.
Like I'll just be sitting there and like I'll start listening to like the Grateful Dead or something like that, and then I'll just start clicking, just go down the rabbit hole of the related artists on the related artists, and then the algorithms in that are so impressive that like, do you get the weekly play? Does it make you a weekly playlist every week? That shit is so intuitive.
It is.
It just plays me stuff. I'm just like, it'll play me a song. I'm like, I was talking about that a week ago. Like, I didn't listen to it. I just was talking. And then I look at my phone. I'm like, you're listening to me.
You're listening to me.
That's
I had a conversation with someone at work about like deep cut Jimi Hendrix tunes. Mm-hmm. And then like the next week, it put like some deep cut live Jimi Hendrix tune. I'm like, I'm like, stop it.
That stuff trips me out because I'll be searching on Amazon or something like that. Like, say I'm searching for phone cases.
Yeah.
Then I'm on Facebook and it pops up
like,
like
do you want a phone
case.
case?
I'm like, yo, they're watching me, man.
No, the algorithms are reading what your browser history is, and they know.
Yeah. So and then you just yell, like, I already got one.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yep.
Trips me out.
No, me too. I'm just I'll look at my phone and be like, you knock it off.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad that at least like I'm like, fine, use your powers for like I talked about Led Zeppelin, then you'll play me Led Zeppelin later. But like don't use your powers for like suddenly people know my credit card number or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So when you guys kind of hit the ground running full time, like what kind of touring life did you find yourselves in? And
it started out with literally just forcing our music upon people. Like we were literally like driving around the country. We would find tours that were already happening.
Would follow other tours.
And we would just follow those tours and go to the people in line to get in.
Oh, and you just play in the parking lot.
No, we would force them to listen to our CD.
Oh wow! So some real guerrilla grassroots stuff.
And then we would force them to buy it after they listened to it.
Then it's so crazy because there's so many people. Like we'll go to like we were just in Las Vegas, and there was somebody there that knew us like years ago.
Oh,
from buying a CD, and it happens everywhere we go. Mm-hmm. But and then like when the tour season would end, we would go to malls and just just stop random people walking by and sell our CDs.
We've been kicked out.
Been kicked out of a lot.
Been kicked out of every single mall in New Jersey, first of all.
That's a lot of malls, too.
And probably every mall in the Philadelphia area.
So she guess where the tri-state area there.
Yeah. And some throughout the country. But I know Jake and Samoeun is funny because they had their pictures up in the gallery mall.
We had
because they've been kicked out so many times that the security like made them come back and put their photos up. Like if you see these guys, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Because we were relentless. Like they would kick us out, we'd come back the next day and just keep selling. And it got to a point where Cherry Hill Mall, New Jersey, the security just like they became cool with us. And
They're
were
just like whatever.
Go ahead, guys.
Yeah.
We were selling the music.
We were like mall employees. All the other employees in the mall.
Yeah, they knew us.
They all knew us. It was.
You get the discount.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, nothing bad ever happened. Like,
oh yeah, we've been arrested.
We started out.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The first couple days we started out.
Let's tell them about our first week.
Yeah. No,
like,
do it. Yeah. So this is like your first week, like going out
Like,
chasing tours.
We got our CDs. So we're like,
no. Matter of fact, we didn't even have CDs.
We didn't have CDs.
So this is our manager.
So you get in the van.
He's a funny guy.
Yep.
Like we did some event in Philly.
Sisters.
Was that the Spectrum?
It was at
Spectrum.
the Spectrum. Yeah.
The Spectrum.
Oh yeah.
So we go there, and he's like, "Yeah, we're just gonna hand out some flyers."
Yeah.
You know,
our CDs don't come for another week, so we'll just hand out flyers.
So we're handing out flyers. Well, we didn't even get to hand out flyers yet, and he says, "Okay, guys, we're gonna sell CDs." I'm like, Dave, we don't have CDs.
How do we sell CDs without?
So he's like, "Well, here's a notebook. Have them write down their name and address.
No, take the
their
money.
Oh yeah,
Take their
yeah."
money.
And then have them write down their name and address. Did we have the T-shirts at that time?
No,
or-
we had nothing.
Oh, and we'll
All we
send
had
them
was-
a
We'll
T-shirt,
mail you.
and we'll mail them a T-shirt and the CD.
Right.
How well did that work?
What we did have
It
was we
worked
had
pretty good.
We sold like 70.
We had those tickets, right?
Oh, we had
We had
tickets.
those tickets because we were doing like a contest, like that. Whoever we do a drawing and you could win, a date with one of the men. It was something crazy
Something
that he
stupid,
came up
yeah.
with, but
Oh,
it
wow.
worked. It worked.
But the thing that made it work, though, I'm sorry about the tap.
No, tap away.
The thing that made it work was our Dave is the ultimate talker. He talked. There was like a Sprite truck.
Something. It was some kind of
a
like
Sprite.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like giving free drinks. He convinced them to let us stand next to them to make it seem like we were in the
Yeah,
hoots
like we were teamed up with the Sprite
team up
truck.
with the Sprite.
That's
And we're like,
great.
oh, come listen to this music and you get free Sprite. Like they were giving away free Sprite anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, it
We
sounds
still
like
have
he's
the notebook
like
today.
The king of the king of the hustle.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is
he
the king of the
definitely
hustle.
is.
And there are like certain guys in the music industry, and it's nice when you find guys like that whose like intentions are good. So
Right.
like you guys obviously all liked and respected each other.
Right.
Like he respected you guys. It wasn't just like I'm gonna get these young guys in here and make a bunch of money off
Right,
of. It
right.
sounds like he really liked what you guys were doing.
Oh yeah, he's our age too.
Yeah.
He's only a couple
Yeah.
years older than us, so it's like
Yeah.
He believed in it. He's
Yeah.
like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
But that's great. No, you meet guys like that who just have a knack for the hustle. Be like, oh, what? That's a sandwich place. All right, let's go there on
Yeah.
sandwich day, and
Yep.
like we're gonna do the thing.
they just see it. And
Yeah.
that's how he was. So he was like, you guys are going to sell these CDs without the CDs. They're going to write their address down, and we'll send them the CDs. Just
Which
let
you
them
can
know.
imagine if somebody walked up to you on the
Right,
street and
yeah.
said, like, Lana, look, I want to say this record.
Right.
I don't have it.
Right.
And I want to give you this T-shirt.
Right.
And I don't have it.
Right.
But if you
will
write
get
your
it.
name
Yeah.
and address.
I mean, we had the music
And give
on
me
a
your
CD.
money.
Yeah. Right. We
So
let them hear it first.
We let
Yeah,
them
we let
hear
them
it
hear
on a
it.
CD.
Look, it exists.
So
Yeah,
that
it
was
exists.
it was
It's-
there. You just don't have it on.
But we
it.
still have that notepad
The
with all the
notepad
names
with-
and
Oh,
addresses.
God, that's
It
great.
was like 72 names.
Wow.
and
So that
addresses.
that kind of gave us the confidence to we can do this.
We can do
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the hardest things about being in a band is being able to sell yourself. Like to be able to walk up to if someone. The hardest thing to ever ask a band is, what kind of band are you? What kind of music do you play?
Right.
Yeah.
But at some point, if you want to be successful, you need to have an answer that you need
Right.
to have your 10-second answer to that.
Right.
And if you can't have your 10-second answer to that, then maybe this isn't going to be your living. Like
Right.
I have a good friend who owns a studio, and his line is always like, "Hey, music is a great hobby." He's like, "It's wonderful to do in your spare time." He's like, "But if you want to go to a place where this is what you do all the time, there's certain things you're going to have to know how to do."
Yep.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this guy Dave was key. You guys met him at the absolute ideal time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's what kind of propelled us into really knowing that we could do it. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, right after that,
So then, just let's get back to this.
Oh,
We'll get back
this
to the
is
first week. So first
Right.
week. So you sell about 75 CDs, sight
Without
unseen,
right.
that you don't have.
Right.
Right. So then a few days later, we get our CDs.
Well, that's
Right.
good.
yeah.
So I think the first thing we did was like a 4th of July show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that Avalon, right? Was that Avalon?
I don't know. It was.
I think it was
a long
somewhere
time ago,
down the
doesn't
shore. Anyway, so we sold like all our CDs we had that day. Like
we did the show, and then we sold them afterwards to the entire. It was a huge crowd of people. So we just sold all our CDs.
Sold all our CDs. The next day, there was something going on South Street. I don't know if it was something where there was
It
a
was
lot of
Greek weekend.
Oh,
remember that?
I used to work on South Street. I used to dread Greek weekend.
Yeah, so we said we're going to go out there and sell those people our CD.
Yeah.
Of course you did. A thing that every other right-minded person would be like, I ain't getting anywhere near that. You're just like, guys, let us get as into that as we possibly can. But that's what you got to do. Yep. Like you can't be like, oh, well, that sounds hard. It's just like, well, it's all hard. Yeah. So let's just do it.
Gotta do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
So we did it.
Yeah.
And we're at the end. We're like,
oh, we were killing.
Yeah.
Too.
So
you guys are all really charismatic dudes, it seems too. So like, you're just able to kind of go.
And it's easy, like if people, you guys can sing, and then we'll bust out a song, and it's like you just crowd builds, and now we sold 20 CDs right there. You know.
Oh God, what a great idea! I did it all wrong. You guys are showing me how I did everything in my life wrong about music.
No.
Yeah, definitely not.
So anyway, continue.
Oh, so we're done for the night, right? And we're just like
hanging out,
kind of crowded around our car.
We're right. You know where the Wawa is on 2nd Street.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're right there. There's a couple people getting drinks inside, and we're like, we're done. It's been a long, hot day.
Yeah.
So I think we were like giving back the CDs we didn't sell for the night.
Yeah, because we had a system where you would keep
a certain amount of CDs
on
your person. Yeah.
And
we had book bags,
but you wouldn't get more until you sold all of those. So it was like
a box.
So you knew how much money you were supposed to have. It was the whole system.
Oh, okay. So that you didn't like.
So nothing got lost.
Yeah. So
our inventory was always on point.
Wow. You guys just had this down like this. Like
we did.
So we were doing that. We were getting the CDs and we were exchanging the money. All right, this is how much money we got. And then next thing we know, this bike cop rolls up on us, and he thought we were like bootleggers.
Oh,
right?
He thought you were. Yeah, he thought you weren't selling your own music. That you were selling like boot. Yeah, because that was a thing. It's been a thing. The guys with the blue duffel bags, CDs, DVDs.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Right. So he thought we were bootleggers, which we weren't technically allowed to sell our own CDs either, because you have to have a permit for that.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a lot more. I feel like you got a lot more leg to stand. I was like, no, I made this.
Right. But they didn't care. Paddy Wagon rolled up. They
arrested all of us.
They locked us all. They arrested all of us in front of everybody.
Except for Dave, he got away.
Dave, it was. I don't know how this happened. Because we had just gave all the money to Dave.
Well, that's good. At least Dave had the money.
So somehow the officer didn't realize he was connected to us. So he just kind of like backed away, right?
Well, that's how you do it. You give the money to the guy, and then he goes.
He goes. Yeah. So we all get arrested because we're all wearing the same T-shirts. You know what I mean? We're all wearing
the Ju-Taun T-shirts.
Yeah. And we have the book bag, so they arrest us. They take all our CDs, everything. And then finally, once it all gets sorted out, now we got a court date for selling our CDs, And so we go to court and, they drop it. Yeah. Nothing bad happens. But, it was a terrible... 2 days later, we're all frustrated because we got arrested. It was annoying. Yeah. Dave's like, man, forget Philly. We're going to go to New York.
We're going to Times Square.
So we go to Times Square. And this is when TRL was big.
Oh, yeah. It's just like a 405.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So we're like, we're going to go right outside the TRL building, and we're going to sell our CDs. And
wrong move.
And we were doing it. We were there for hours.
It was working.
Selling the CD. We were getting. But again, it's not legal to do that in New York. So, but the only ones that got arrested were Samoeun and Stan, who came with us today. So he's not even in the band. He's just
getting arrested. Right. So he doesn't even get to say he's in the band, but he gets to get arrested with the band.
I'm with Samoeun and Stan, but they're talking to some girls, and I'm talking to somebody. I'm selling a CD. So I hear somebody say, "Put your hands behind your back." I'm thinking they're talking to me.
Yeah.
They're talking to them. So I look at them, and they get put in cuffs. Yeah. So I slowly walk away, because if I didn't get away, the rest of the
we were far away on the other side of the street.
The rest of the guys were on the other side of the street. So I was able to get away, find out they got arrested. So they ended up getting stuck in there for like 2 days.
Yeah. I got stuck in there for 2 days.
You did.
Stan this is what happened. Me and Stan got locked up. We were in the same cell.
Stan is our road manager.
This is where
by the
they
way.
figure out, like, you know, who you are or whatever like that. They took Stan first to get fingerprinted.
Yeah.
Boom. Stan got fingerprinted. Stan Golden, you know, he's from New Jersey. They go and fingerprint me. Literally, the second that they're about to fingerprint me, the whole system shuts down.
Oh,
so
like the computer.
the computer shuts down. They don't know who I am.
Yeah.
So Stan gets out. I'm still locked up.
Because
And
they
then
can't figure out who you are.
They can't figure out who I am, and then they end up the precinct can't keep me for
longer than a certain amount of time unless they're going to arrest
time.
you. Yeah,
so they
or charge
send
you,
me.
yeah.
They send me to central booking,
where
I'm in
New
the
York
cell,
City.
in New York City, where
Oh
I'm in a
my-
cell with like 40-something people.
with some heavy dudes.
hitters.
People that are in there, I was listening to everybody. You know, homeless people would just get locked up just so that
So
they
they
can
can get
eat.
inside, yeah.
People who shot this one dude was in there making a big ruckus because he's a gangster guy. He shot a couple people. So I'm just sitting there. I took my shirt off and I wrapped my head and then I just sat there like this.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
nobody
hard.
mess with me. Nobody talks to me.
Like, what are you in for? Well, I was singing and I was talking to these girls and I was going to sell them a CD and now and that was 3 days ago.
I was locked up for like 32 days. Yeah, 30-something out.
Like
40-something hours.
yeah. Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
so think
It was-
about it. This is our first few days of doing this. So we're thinking like this is impossible, and
every time we try and sell CDs,
we get arrested. So Dave, he's like, all right, the rest of y'all, we're in New York. He's like, yo, just go home. I'll handle this. So he ends up staying up in New York, and him being the talker that he is,
Smooth talker.
he talks himself into the jail. Talks the
This was precinct before I went to central booking.
Oh, okay. He talks them into allowing him to bring in Chinese food for him.
Because he's
he doesn't
my
want to get you
brother.
out. He's just gonna,
He couldn't get him out.
He was like, "Yeah, this is my brother. He can't eat anything."
Dave's black,
yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
So
He can't.
So he convinced them that he was his brother, and he can't eat anything other than Chinese food. So they gotta let him bring in some Chinese food for him. And after like a while of back and forth, they finally let him do it. And this guy's eating Chinese food in front of all
while
these people.
else is eating nasty bologna sandwiches.
Oh,
So
my God.
they were mad.
So Dave ended up staying up there, making sure he was straight, and he gets out the next day. And I remember we all met up at a diner. And
Elgin Diner.
Yeah.
That's our
in what is that, Pennsauken?
yeah.
that's in Camden.
Camden.
In
yeah.
Camden. So we all met there, and we were just like, this is before we even had an office. We used to meet in parking lots, you know, and it was just like, what are we gonna do? Are we either gonna keep going or we're gonna give up? And it was like, let's keep going. We went to Pittsburgh.
At that point, like you had all been to jail at some point, so you're just like, well, it can't get any
It
worse
can't
than
get any
yeah.
worse.
It's like, or if it does, we know because
Right.
we've all been to jail already.
Yep, and went to jail a couple
And-
times after that, too.
And we were still selling a ton of CDs. So it was,
What's funny is we ran into that same cop who arrested us that first night
on
And-
South Street, yeah.
The next time
we got
we got
arrested
arrested.
again on South Street
Yeah.
a few years later, and that same
For the same thing?
for the same
Same thing.
And that same bike cop that arrested us then, he was now studying to be a district attorney or
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah.
or a prosecutor. And he came into the precinct when they were holding us, and he was like, "I remember these guys." He was like, "They're good litigators,
You gotta
man.
watch out for them. They're good
them."
litigators.
So the cop that arrested us, he was like, "I'm not even gonna show
I'm not
you.
gonna play,
You
yeah.
guys will be fine." So
Yeah,
we were good.
It's so wild. It's so you get arrested for selling records.
Yep.
My
Yep.
God. Wow. And that's on the first week.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stories. We
Yeah.
can be here all day talking about
Well, you guys,
stuff.
you guys hit the ground running, and like instead of having like a traditional tour apparatus around you, instead of having like a tour management, a booking company, it was like you guys and Dave,
Right.
Yeah.
And Dave was
And
just like,
Stan.
and Stan, yeah,
Yep.
like and being like, all right, well, go out there and just get in front of people, because that's always the key. It's like if you can just because once you can get in front of people and do the thing that you do. If you do it well, and you guys obviously did it well then, you do it well now.
Thanks.
And that's how we got on our national tour. With this one guy, Wendell, he saw us hustling. Right, Wendell was the one that saw us hustling our CDs or whatever like that, and he was like, "You guys a group? All right, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to perform at the end of this tour and we performed, and they liked us, and we ended up.
There was nobody there.
Yeah, there was nobody.
Well, that's
there.
always how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, nobody. But it was like,
but somebody was watching,
opportunity.
and we ended up being on this tour
Ended
and
up
getting paid.
booked as the opening act of the tour.
Yeah.
and
What tour was that?
It was called the Pantene Total U Tour. They did it for like
For the hair product?
yeah.
yeah,
They did
yep.
like these huge expos where they were
Well, who are you guys touring with? Like at the
Oh,
like,
tons
who are
of,
your
like,
headliners?
Tons of people.
R&B acts like Tyrese, Mary J. Blige.
Oh, wow.
Mary.
Who
Who else was on there? the girl that used to be on Destiny Child. What was her name?
Latoya Luckett.
Latoya Luckett.
Jagged Edge.
Jagged
Avant,
Edge was there,
All these like major R&B acts. 'Cause it was like an urban marketing kind of thing for Pantene. So they would do like a show. They would do an expo with panelists where they had like people from TV shows, and then they would do a this big expo afterwards where you could get like free hair products and stuff like that. It was a whole Procter and Gamble thing. Yeah.
Procter and Gamble. Yep.
Yeah. But those, I mean, but that was the opportunity for you
Right.
guys right there. It was going to put you in front of people.
Right.
Where other people might have said like, no, I'm not going to do that. Or, oh, that's a major product, not going to sell out. You guys are just like, and not saying you guys were selling up. You're just like, there are people at
Right.
that thing.
Right, because what
And
did we do?
that is what we are doing
What
here.
did we do after we got off stage? We opened the show up,
Yeah.
and that's all well, and they paid us to open up. But afterwards, all those people, we're going to sell our CDs to those people. So they're going to leave there.
You just never stop. You guys are just
Yeah.
unstoppable CD selling machines.
So those people are going to leave with our music, and then those will be returned people that we can now, because back then it was like your website and MySpace. You know what I mean?
MySpace.
So it was like,
Oh, God, yeah,
we would
yeah.
get those people, and they would be locked in forever.
Did you find you were able to so you would go out on these major tours and then you guys would hustle? You weren't just going to take the money and sit backstage. You guys were just going to work. The
I mean,
whole time.
even getting money, we hustled for that.
We were always the first to be there and the last to leave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always.
Did you find that then you were able to sort of take this exposure that you've gotten through other means and then sort of start to cobble together your own fan base and sort of start to book your own tours based on kind of having gone through a place, talk to a whole bunch of people, and then the next time you go through, some of those people might come?
It was definitely like that because, I mean, we didn't really book our own tours.
We got on other tours.
We got on other
after that.
tours, yeah. We started like getting on a lot of big tours after that and just going around the country. And we noticed that when we would go back to these markets, all of these people would come that knew us from, the last time we were at the other tour and we sold CDs to them, and now they know our music,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the key. Like,
Right.
it could just comes down to just getting in front of people.
Yeah.
And showing them what you can do. And once you do that, they're either going to like it or they're not going to like it. But
Right.
at that point, you can honestly walk away from that saying like, well, I have done everything I can right here. I have put the thing out in front of them. It's in your court. Wow. And you guys still hustle like that now? I mean, you said no one really buys CDs anymore. So what do you sell now?
Now we're trying to sell merch and just trying to get people to subscribe. It's all it's a different type of hustle now.
But the hustle is there.
Right.
I mean, well, you have ingrained in you the ability to just walk in and chat the room,
Right.
which not everybody has. Some people are great artists, but they're not particularly outgoing people.
Right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make them, better or worse artists. It's just that's how certain people are wired. But you guys seem to kind of have the whole deal.
I was not, man. It was hard.
Or
for
you
me.
got there, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like we had to learn how to be that way
Yeah.
because we were all pretty shy when we first started.
It's hard to talk about yourself, and it's hard. You have to come out with enough confidence about what you're doing, whether you have that confidence or not. You at least have what's the saying? So act as if,
Right.
So like act as if you already have a record deal, even though you don't have. Act as if you have CDs, even
Right.
though you do not have CDs.
Absolutely.
That's funny.
So the way you guys are kind of doing it now, you have a full band behind you, bass, keys, drums, and then James, you play guitar.
Yeah.
Plays a bunch of stuff.
Plays a lot of stuff.
Whatever
will
we
do.
need.
Yeah.
Whatever we need. But that came through our transition of losing a couple members of the group and
I'm
wanting
just
to,
growing musically.
growing musically, but wanting to continue and knowing the dynamic changes from 5-part harmony to 3.
Yeah.
So we started writing music with that mindset, and it started with just like Jake would sit at the piano and write a song, and that became, how we started writing. And then I was like, I want to write some stuff on guitar, and I never played guitar before, and I just started like, all right, well, I'll figure it out, So that kind of we started evolving into what we are now, and then it was like, well, we kind of need some other musicians, so we
still wanted it to be about the singing, so you guys, when you played live, you guys still wanted to sing,
right?
Yeah, that was in us. Like, you hear the harmonies and stuff like that. So
yeah.
So we wanted, musicians. So I ended up, you want to put a Craigslist ad to see if
right,
See who we can get.
see who we can get, and then we run into Steve. Steve brought his drummer from BAM, John.
Yep.
No, it was actually we were
Carter
doing
first.
What happened was we were doing somehow we found out about this competition on the 10 show on NBC.
Oh, yeah.
Songwriters
And
competition.
we entered it, and we made it to like the final round, and we were like, well, we don't want to get up there with some tracks, so we want to get musicians on stage with us. We'll put up a Craigslist ad, and
Yeah.
And he put it up, and the first person to respond was Carter. He was really young at the time, bass player, and Steve's friend in BAM, the drummer John Ardito, responded, and he was like, well, what do you guys all need? And we were like, we need guitar, drums, keys, everything. So he was like, well, I have those things. So he brought, the only thing we had already was the bass player. So he brought Steve to an audition, and he told us he had a guitar player as well. And they killed the audition, and we went and we ended up winning the show. And they gave us like some music video. That was the prize.
Which was
Yeah, I don't even know if that video is you can see it anywhere, but anyway, so through all that, we met these guys, and over the years it was kind of like they were doing their thing, we were doing our thing, and getting involved in other stuff, but we would always kind of like run into each other. We would constantly work together. So when we started working on this new music and trying to put out this new sound, and we wanted to get musicians again, we really didn't even reach out to them. It was kind of like we put it out there through social media. We're looking for musicians, and they were the first ones. Oh, we want, so we were like, all right, cool. So we brought them in, and they're like part of the band now. Like,
there was a time period where we were like, we don't want to take away from your thing,
Yeah.
because it
Steve-
almost feels
Steve
like
had-
we were stealing.
yeah, it felt like that. Like like we were stealing Steve away from BAM.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but BAM ended up they ended up going their separate ways anyway. So then Steve just started working full time with us. And Carter was, when he came and played with us, he wasn't doing. I think he had just graduated from Drexel. He went to Drexel for the music industry program there, and he was ready to come play with us. So we had a lot of stuff lined up on the books, and we just started doing shows, and it was good.
So what kind of touring are you guys doing now?
Just we're doing a lot of shows. Like around here, seems like lately, but we're also backing Freddie Jackson.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're his band too. So we do a lot of shows, all around the country, playing with him, and we sing background vocals, and these guys play.
Oh,
in the
wow.
band.
He's
Yeah.
the MD.
Yeah,
oh, you're the musical director.
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go.
yeah. It's
Like-
funny because
like
it's like
father,
full,
like
full
son, right
circle.
there.
Yeah,
Full circle. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well,
He lets us open up for him.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
sometimes,
Yeah.
Depending on the.
and those are good crowds, I imagine, and people,
Oh, yeah.
people who are
Sold
very
out.
much into what, like, sometimes when you
Our
kind of
music-
go out with these
Our
names,
music is different.
It's
though,
different
from,
than Freddie's, of course.
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
what they're going to buying a ticket to go see, but
But
they're
it's,
looking for the
it's
old
still-
school stuff, but like
yeah.
in the end, like, yeah, but if they see you, they can be like, these young guys still, and we're not as young as we used to be, but
Right.
Exactly.
in comparison, they're like, these young guys, but you guys are still definitely schooled in that world.
Right. I think they pick up on the elements of that are in our music.
Yeah,
And
it's definitely no accident. Yeah,
right, and it works. They love it. So we've been doing that, but we've just put out the EP not too long ago. So it's been a process trying to establish that and get radio for that, and We have a PR company working, and we just got a couple sync deals for the songs on that EP. So we feel like the touring will come. We kind of were like in a phase of just regrouping and establishing what the new sound was going to be. And this is the first project we've put out since we kind of changed our sound. So
What's the EP called again?
Back to Life.
That's right.
We got a copy for you. We'll get it for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Even though it's going to go into your CD pile.
It's going to go in the
basement.
pile. Well, I mean, it does get ripped.
It is on Spotify though, so you.
Well, I mean, I was listening to some stuff earlier this week because that's the joy right now is that once you put it out there, you can just put it up everywhere and everyone can get it. Have you guys? I mean, as you guys get a little older, it sounds like. Are you starting to? Is life starting to like sort of reveal itself in ways where you're just like, well, yeah, I still want to go on the road, but also,
Oh,
maybe
absolutely.
I want. I mean, I don't know if you guys are married, or kids.
We're
all
married,
married.
and we all have kids.
Oh,
so.
see, yeah, there you are.
You can still go out on the road. You just gotta make sure the kids are okay.
Well, yeah, and it's this whole other thing, and it's not even just about like, when you have kids and stuff that you don't even you want to be around, like you want to see all this stuff. You don't want to miss anything.
All right.
Yeah, and it's a little easier now with FaceTime and stuff like that, but it's still not the same.
It's not the same.
No, not at all, not at all.
Yeah, definitely balancing that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's cool. So.
But in the end, it is the job. So, like, in the same way that anyone else's dad goes to work every day, goes to office, goes to the place, like, your guy's office is on stage.
Right.
So, in the end, that's where you, or in the studio or in the rehearsal room or whatever, like, that's where you got to go.
Right. And they know that. They understand that. They're like,
Sometimes you got to bring the kids.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's like the Eagles. You just like the bus full of the family.
Yeah. Listen,
I made the
my
mistake.
dad had to do it with us. When we were little,
exactly. Full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle.
I had two boys, right? Two sons, about to be 11 and 7, and we were recording something for a tiny desk.
Yeah, we were filming a tiny desk.
I was talking to them the whole way, the whole car ride. Like, listen, like we're recording something. You guys have to be quiet, right? And I told them right before we hit record. I'm like, listen, you guys got to be quiet. Turn your iPads.
And they were quiet the whole
time. And as soon as Stan presses record, bing, they start arguing with each other. Like, and then you see me on camera, like. So I waited till we were done recording. And I,
God.
got them. Like, really got.
But that's fun because then later, if they choose to like get involved in music, maybe not for a living, but then they'll tell stories later about like, I went to this recording session with my dad, and like, it's just all.
And I got
in trouble. I got
yelled at. Well, I'm sure you guys got in. I'm sure you guys got up to stuff on tour with your dad or something.
Yeah.
Never. My dad was.
I mean,
we used to call him Sergeant Slaughter.
No, we would do little things,
but nothing like that. Nothing that would mess up anything. Like,
yeah. My dad was very strict. So we made sure we didn't.
My dad was the type of dad where it was like, I'm not gonna have y'all running around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make you work the spotlight all night.
Oh, he gave you jobs.
He would always give us
jobs.
Yeah. And it was cool. We loved it.
That's what got me into doing sound because he gave me a job one time. The sound guy didn't show up.
Oh yeah. So, that's how it works.
Yeah, it was. I was 13 years old, and he's like, "All right, you see this? Put this up. Put that down.
If that gets weird, do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't break anything.
Yep. And I did it, and I was like, "This is so cool."
See you, kid. Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we all kind of find our ways to things. Is that like at some point, it's not you just get thrown into it. Yeah. You one day you look up, you're just like, oh gosh, I think I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, in any career, not just in music, but in anything, you kind of look up and you're just like, I think I'm good at this now.
Right. I think I got this.
Yeah, that's great. Oh wow. Well, you guys have told more stories than I ever imagined. No, it's great. I know what I'm going to get when I get people down here. Oh, I'm sure you do. And with 3 guys, too. I think you're the most people I've ever had on mic for discussion ever. I'll do 2 sometimes. When I first started out, I used to say to myself, I'm like, I'm going to do 1 at a time. Yeah. Not going to do 2. And then I started doing 2. And then I asked myself, I'm like, what does that rule even mean? Yeah. Like, you made it up. This is your show. Do whatever you want.
Right.
And then I started having 2 people. I've never had 3, so I was just like, let's see what this is. But this is good. I'm glad it was you 3, too, because you guys definitely have the chemistry together for so long that you're able to just kind of just flow back and forth.
Yeah. He talks more than everybody.
Well, that is apparent, yes.
Yeah. He's a good talker.
Well, you got to have the guy in the band who does the most talking, and then you guys, got to bust him down every once in a while on mic.
Yeah.
And,
that's what it is.
Yeah. You guys find, like, with the brother thing is.
Oh,
good.
it's a running joke.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Because we're brothers, so we can have a banter that others would find offensive.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
you can say the most devastating crap to each other, and anyone else would be like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And you'd be like, "Ah."
Yeah.
Where were we at the last in the dressing room? Where were we just at? It all meshes.
I don't know, man.
It was a big.
It all runs together.
Fort Lauderdale. They were having one of those moments, and me and Steve look at each other. They're brothers.
Yeah, they always sing the
They're
song
happy.
from the Wayans Brothers
Wayans
show.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's true. Because anyone else would be like, "Are they gonna fight?" It's like, yeah probably.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
Never gets that.
It never gets that.
We never
We're
even
not like
fist fought
fight.
at
It's like
it.
yeah,
when we were
be like, are
kids.
they gonna get mad at each other? It's like yeah, for like a minute.
Yeah.
That's fine. No, I'm the same way with. I work with my brother in the studio sometimes.
Oh, okay.
There are definitely. I had it last weekend where I was sitting there with this guitar part, and I thought he was rushing me, and he probably thought I was being stupid and not
Right.
understanding thing. We had this moment where I'm just like, "Will you just?" And I get really intense for like 30 seconds, and then I pick up the guitar. I'm like, "You mean like this?" He goes, "Yeah, no, that's great." And then boom, just right back into the session.
Yeah,
But for
that's
like
how it
30
is.
seconds, it was like, I'm like, got like 34 years of anger at you right now, and now it's gone.
Yep.
And now it's gone. That's family, man.
Yep.
And you guys have all been together for long enough that it's like,
Yeah, I mean, even Samoeun, like,
It's
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah. He's another brother. So
that's great. Well, the EP's great.
thank you.
You guys are
Appreciate it.
running around. I like the sound of the live band too. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've seen you guys perform. Back like in the World Cafe days, like
Right,
in
right.
2009, 2010.
right.
And I like the new band. Even though it's just three of you singing, it's this whole other animal.
No,
You
we
can't really
got-
compare one to the other.
Steve sings
Steve-
with us
Steve,
too.
Oh,
Steve
great.
Jumps
Yeah.
in on the harmonies.
Great, yeah. That's what I say. You get guys in the band to be like, you're gonna sing,
Yeah.
even if you don't think you're gonna.
Yep. Because on our recordings, it's at least 3 parts.
Yeah,
You know,
and then you
so-
stack them, and
Right.
yeah,
And then so when one of us is doing lead, we need those 3 parts. So
Yeah.
Steve, you got to sing some harmonies.
yeah. And Steve's into it.
Yeah.
Oh, he loves it.
That's great. That's great. What is it about singing together? Because I was in a band where there were 3 or 4 of us all sing together, and we would warm up in a back room, or if there wasn't a back room, a lot of times there isn't a back room. Go out in the
Right.
parking lot, or sometimes we go get back in the van, and like because you got to warm up before you go out there. And there's just something intrinsically wonderful about singing with other people in the moment, even just 1 other people, 2 other people, 3
Right.
other people. I imagine you guys get that bang like literally every time.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like a spiritual thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No, it is.
Well, no, it is. I mean,
is.
yeah.
Like,
It is.
It
I mean,
is.
think
Really.
about it. It's the oldest form of
Absolutely.
music.
It's
to
the
get-
most.
You know,
It's the most integral instrument of a human.
right.
Like even
Right.
before percussion, it's
Right.
your voice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
to-
original instrument.
to bring like we know each other's voices so well. Like even we talk about this a lot. Like Jamie or Samoeun, if we just hear somebody, like if somebody's leading something and we're just following them, we might be a little bit, teeny bit behind, but
Yeah.
you won't be able to hear it. You know,
Yeah.
like the regular person won't be able to hear it. But it's just being able to flow and just go with whatever you're doing.
Right,
It's
and
just I
following.
love that. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's something unifying about it.
Yeah.
And I think when you get to that point where, you know, because people always talk about our blend, like, oh, your blend is so like different, you know. I think it's because when you've been singing together for so long, you kind of like know just instinctively how to connect your voices to sound like one. And when you can do that, it creates something that people kind of like connect to. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like this weird, like you said, it's like a spiritual thing. And
Yeah.
I think that's why it's been used in, you know,
In church and
Yeah.
like almost all spiritual gatherings have some element
Right.
of singing in, even just a cappella singing or chant or
Right.
or what have you. No, it's something I think about more and more. I was watching the Eagles documentary on Netflix. And I'm not a big Eagles fan. Like I could take or leave them.
Right.
But there's this scene right at the beginning of them. It's like in the late 70s playing in Colorado. And they're backstage with one guitar and like all 4 of them around like singing some chorus.
Right.
And I watched it, I'm like, that was that was me. Like,
Right.
that was me and the three other guys in my band backstage in whatever place that we were. And I imagine you guys found yourselves in a lot of back rooms warming up.
Right.
And in that moment, you're just like, stage or no stage, like that thing that's happening right there is the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, all that other stuff is great. The hustle is great.
Yeah.
You know, having a lot of people have your music is great. Going on tour is great. Big stages, small stages, but like in the end, you bring it back to the 3, or at the time the 5. Like you bring it back to the core.
Right, and I think you hit it on the head when you said that. You know, because everything we do is because of the music.
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I mean?
to serve that central thing, which is voices singing together, writing. You write music together so you can go sing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the lyrics. It's about you know.
Yeah, and it's about the melody and the tone and
Right.
just everyone. Yeah, it's just something immensely moving about people singing together. I don't know what it is. It's got to be something primal that goes into all of us, of just singing is community, harmony, all kinds of metaphors that we can pull from that. Right there. Yeah, that's great. Well, we should do that then. We should have you guys sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
So yeah, let's get the guys down here.
Okay.
Cool.
People are talking, they're telling stories, they're out to stop me, they want my glory, they're out to shame me, they've been messing with my name, but I've been steady learning how to let go and maintain. My friends keep telling me to get up and fight, but what's the use in fighting if I don't believe the lies? Let it die, yeah. Let it die, yeah, let it die now. Let it die, let it die. Lay down that line. Whoa, I let it die, let it die, let it die, let it die. Lay down that line, down that line. 'Cause it's not mine. No, 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 no. Don't need your rules. No, no. Your point of view. No, no. Ain't trying to act like I got something to prove, but I can bend sometimes just to give you peace of mind. 'Cause I know that it's rough when all you do is justify the way you're living, trying to prove that you're right, when really you're just searching for a way to survive. Now let it die, die. Let it die, let it die, now, let it die. Hey, lay down that line. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let it die, let it die, let it die, let it die. Lay down that line, 'cause it's not mine. Oh, no, 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 no. My friends keep telling me to get up and fight. Oh, but what's the use in fighting if I don't believe the lies? Let it die. Hey, let it die now. Let it die. Let it die now. Let it die. Let it down. Let it down that line. Oh, no. Let it die. I let it die. I let it die. I let it die. Lay down that line, down, 'cause it's not mine. Nah, nah, nah.
So close. Yeah.
Great.
It's all good.
That's fun. You guys want to do another one?
Yeah, let's do By the River.
Well, I went to the valley where I heard there lives a tree. And if I can eat its apple, then I'll learn my destiny. But it was gone, nah. Yeah, it was gone, nah. So I walked through the mountains and across the open field, where I heard there was a fountain, all the people go get healed. But it was gone, yeah. Yeah, it was gone now. So I'm on my way to the only place I've ever known. By the river, hey, by the river, that can help me escape from a life I feel I've long outgrown. By the river, and it's gonna take me away, gonna take me away. I'll be gone. By the river, by the river, it's gonna take me away to a further place I belong. By the river, by the river, by the river. Well, I came across a gypsy who led me to a well, and when I drank its water, I fell under her spell. And I was gone, so gone. So I went to see the wild man who lives underneath the bridge, 'cause I heard he could free me from what the gypsy did. He was gone. Yeah, when I got there, he was gone. So I'm on my way to the only place I know for sure. By the river, by the
sweaty.
Yeah.
Impromptu jam session.
The joy of basement recording.
Oh yeah.
Guys, everyone in Ju-Taun and everyone in my house right now. Thank you all for coming, man. Thanks for coming and doing the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having us
We're
again.
all Ju-Taun.
Yeah.
We're all Ju-Taun.
Yeah,
And
everyone.
am I Ju-Taun?
You are.
That's
You're
great.
Everyone.
Honorary.
Everyone is
You gotta
Ju-Taun.
sing with us sometimes.
Yeah.
He said no.
Yes.
No, just being like, okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll be together till the end of time. 25
Wow. Wasn't that amazing? I recorded that on 2 mics in my basement. And for the record, I make reference to it many times throughout the interview. There were like 8 guys at my house. The 3 guys in Ju-Taun, the 2 guys who were backing them up, playing guitar and bass. There are a couple more guys upstairs who were just hanging out. It was great. I've never had a band bring so many people. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. It was great to meet everyone. When Ju-Taun rolls, they roll big, and when they deliver, they deliver big. Like I said at the top of the show, they have a new EP out called Back to Life. You can get it at Ju-Taun.com, Jutaun.com, and on iTunes and Amazon and all those other places. You can stream it on Spotify and all that. The songs they played, I can't remember if we gave titles to them, so the first tune that they played for us live was a song called Let It Die. That's off the EP, and then the other track was a song called By the River, which is on a previous record. Go to Jutaun.com. Get everything you need about Ju-Taun. Go to 25o'clockpod.com. Get everything you need to know about 25 O'Clock. Check out the archives, mailing list, Instagram, tweeting, Facebooking, all the stuff. And I said it at the top of the show, I kind of rambled about it, but I'm going to throw it in one more time at the end. Go to thepharmacyphilly.org. Try and give them a couple bucks if you can. Try and keep a totally vital, totally important DIY alternative venue going in this city. It's important. It's important to me, and I think it's important to all of us. Thepharmacyphilly.org. Okay. Thanks to Ju-Taun for being on the show. Thank you all for listening. This has been 25 O'Clock. This has been, and still is, 25 O'Clock. My name is Dan Drago. I'll catch you on a couple weeks. Until then, take care of yourselves.